podcast panthers, hangout hawks, breakfast bats, let me introduce you to the world of VeeFriends, the GaryVee NFT project. Hello everyone, my name is Ethan Rushock, and today I'm going to be talking about VeeFriends, the GaryVee NFT project. Gary has only released this within the last couple of days, so at the time of releasing this video, this will be before it even goes to auction. So I wanted to get a video out there to say, what is VeeFriends? What are my thoughts on VeeFriends? And answer the question, will I be buying a VeeFriend? So if you don't know what an NFT is, make sure you watch my video on what is an NFT, because that's definitely going to help you have a bit more understanding of this. And if you don't know who GaryVee is, search him up, check him out on his socials. He gives a lot of good advice for free, and I think you'll find some great value there. First, I'll explain what VeeFriends is. So VeeFriends is the GaryVee NFT project, and there's 10,255 of these VeeFriends. So the VeeFriends themselves are little doodles that Gary has drawn. So there's 268 different characters, and then there's obviously a number of some of these characters. Some are just one of one, and then they range all the way up to one of 40. And then even within those 40, there's a split between different types. So there's three main different types of characters. We've got admission characters, we've got access characters, and we've got gift characters. So as you can see, those different categories are going to have different utility to the NFT. So I'll start with the admission ones, and this was kind of the big announcement that really covers everyone, because every single token has this admission utility, even the gift and the access ones. But the token allows you access to VeeCon, a conference that Gary's going to be running, a 3-day conference, I believe, and it's going to run in 2022, 23, and 24, and I'm going to guess it's going to run well beyond that. But by owning one of these NFTs, you get access for those first 3 years. So in essence, the utility behind every single token is giving you access to VeeCon. Now, I know that Gary is going to deliver on VeeCon. There's going to be a lot of good speakers there, and I think people would love to go to it. So you've got this ticket just by owning the NFT. So straight away, you'll see Gary's approaching this from the NFT is not just about the art and the collectible, but it can have utility behind it. The smart contract behind it allows for this kind of access or admission. And I think it's a really cool concept, and I think that's the future of a lot of NFT projects. So then the second main area are the gift ones. So I think there's 555 gift goats. So gift goats is a character, and there's not a lot that's been announced about this beyond the fact that you will get gifts on might be a regular basis, we're not sure, but you'll get gifts probably airdropped to your wallet that you hold the NFT in. So this is really cool, because I think Gary will really deliver on this. You don't know what you're going to get or when you're going to get, but you just know that at some stage, Gary potentially could airdrop you. Now that could be other NFTs, it could be cryptocurrency, I'm really not sure. I have no idea how this is going to play out, but I really think the people that get this long-term will get really good value out of this NFT. And then the third one, which is what I was expecting, more so than the other two, and look, I think some of these are going to be priced pretty high and they're going to go for good value, but they are access tokens. So there's a variety of different one-on-one and group access tokens here. What I'll do, I'll head over to VeeFriends website and I'll go through some of these. So we've got things like the breakfast bat, like I said, we've got the hangout hawk, which is a virtual access. We've got one-to-one access, so we've got FaceTime fleas, we've got podcast panthers, which is one I think is really cool. We've got the courtside cat, which lets you sit at courtside at a Knicks game with GaryVee. And then we've got something that goes down here, and we've got competition, so you can play bowling against Gary, or basketball, or even ping pong. And then one that I think is really cool is the scholarship access. So Gary's going to be giving away 5 scholarships. There's not a lot of detail about how this will work, but I think that's something really cool. So I did just quickly mention it there, but Gary's already said he will be giving quite a bit away. So he said if the floor price ends up being 1 Ethereum, so that's the currency that you'll buy these NFTs in, if it ends up being above that, he's going to give away at least 100 of these NFTs. So I think that's really cool, because it means that some of the community that can't afford potentially 1 ETH is going to get access to one of these NFTs. So how cool would it be if you were gifted one of these? He then said things like the scholarship will be a bit of an application process. So you can see there's a lot of different ways that you could run an NFT project, not just selling it. You can give these away, or you could have competitions to win them. So there's lots of different abilities to give them to your community. There's still a lot to be announced about VeeFriends. The auction is being delayed at the moment, so it should be out within the next couple of days, and that will run over a time period. There'll be the giveaways involved in there. So I'm only going off what the information that's out there now, but you can see, look, there's still a lot to be unraveled, but I think it's a really cool project. Now, before I get into the next part and talk about my thoughts on VeeFriends, I just would love for you to hit that subscribe button. I hope I'm giving you value by these videos, so that's the one way you could give me some value back in return. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I really appreciate that. Anyway, let's get back into the video. So now I'll give you some of my thoughts on the project, and as I just said then, I think it's really cool, and I think this is how a lot of future NFT projects will be run. They'll have the artwork, if that's what they are, a collectible, for instance, and then there'll be some form of utility behind it, which really allows you to keep giving back to your community. I think that'll be especially true for, say, the first NFT that an artist or a celebrity or an influencer, for instance, releases. So in this case, this is Gary's first NFT. So I think he will keep rewarding the people that supported him initially long term, even if he does future NFT drops, which I think he will with, again, probably access to VeeCon. But I think this first release is always going to be that first initial release, and a bit like collectibles. First things normally hold their value better than anything else. The cool thing about NFT projects is they can keep rewarding the original artist. So when things are sold on the secondary market, there can be royalties built into it, which I think is really cool. Some people don't like the idea of that because they're saying, oh, Gary's already got enough money, why is he getting royalties? But this is kind of a standard thing across most NFT projects. So this is kind of how I thought it would play out with the characters, because I've seen Gary keep posting these on his social media. So I think anyone that really follows him, they would have known that, okay, somehow along the line, these characters are going to be the actual artwork in the NFT. I think they're pretty cool. Some artists are saying, oh, this isn't art. But look, I think they are. Art is in the eye of the beholder as such. So I think they're really cool. I think some of the drawings are cool. And I think the characters are cool because they all fit in with what Gary talks about pretty much. So I think that's the thing, and Gary keeps talking about it, is the artist or the celebrity or the person behind the NFT, do they have a long-term mindset? Which is what Gary has. So I think he will reward holders long term, which therefore makes the NFTs hold their value. If you do, for some reason, want to sell it on a secondary market, someone else may go, oh, I missed out on that initial drop. I want to get in. I want to buy. So potentially you could flip it. If that's what people want to do, which Gary has supported flipping in the past. If someone goes, look, I think I'm going to buy it initially, I want to flip it for a higher price later, then they're free to do that. That's their own choice. I think you'd be silly if that's the only reason you're buying an NFT, because I don't think NFTs are meant for that, but there's definitely the ability to do that. It'll be interesting what happens for non-token holders, because Gary typically has given away a lot of things for free. So it'll be interesting if he still keeps to do that, or whether he holds a lot of his free, whether it's Zoom chats, etc., with his token holders, which I think would make sense, because obviously these people should be rewarded. They've put a significant amount of money potentially into these tokens, so therefore it would make sense to reward that community. And speaking of community, it'd be interesting to see how the community of VeeFriend holders integrates and what kind of benefits that could have for people. It might be networking with other VeeFriend holders, which I think is a really cool concept. The Discord is growing like crazy. I think it has 140,000 members already within a week. So that's really cool. And you can see that that community potentially could support each other, whether they're running businesses or whether they're content creators or artists, etc. I think VeeCon is a really great idea, but I don't know if it was the right idea for right now because of all the global travel restrictions. So I'll talk about it more when I talk about will I be purchasing one, but obviously for his international audience, it's great that we can participate and we can buy the NFT, but the problem with the global travel restrictions, are we actually going to be able to attend VeeCon, and therefore are we actually going to be able to get a value out of that? There is a FAQ on the website saying that if for some reason it can't go ahead and stuff, you will be compensated, but I'm not sure how that will play out. I think it'll be really interesting to see who purchases these. So will they be priced out and they'll just go to people that have already got a lot of money? Unfortunately, I think that's what will happen for a lot of them, but it'll be interesting to see how much is given away and how much the everyday person can get in, because a lot of Gary's audience is young entrepreneurs that are just starting out. So hopefully they get rewarded because they're the community that have supported him along the way, and this is their chance to support him again, but also get something back in return. So I think it's really cool that he's done it where you've got to purchase through a cryptocurrency. So he's used Ethereum, and it's been built where you've got to purchase it with a wallet that's got Ethereum in it. And the reason I think that's cool is it has educated people on cryptocurrencies. So people that had never been involved have therefore got into cryptocurrencies. And I think that's an important thing, especially for entrepreneurs and stuff going forward. Because I think cryptocurrencies will get bigger and they will become more a part of every day. And if you can learn how the technology works, gas fees, buying wallets, different exchanges, etc., I think that's a really cool concept. I know even myself, obviously I had quite a bit of knowledge around cryptocurrencies prior to this, but I've even learned a few different things. So that learning experience has been really cool. And the other cool thing is that the price of Ethereum has gone up. So in Australian dollars, I think when this project was first kind of announced and Gary was saying, look, make sure you've got 1 ETH, I think Ethereum was worth about $2,700 here in Australia, and it's now sitting about $4,500. So that's an $1,800 increase just in probably 2 to 3 weeks. So even people that might have got in, bought their Ethereum on that date, and now suddenly they're sitting on quite a significant gain that even if they don't end up buying an NFT, they've already made a bit of a gain. So that's a cool bonus. So overall, I think it's a really cool project. I know some people complaining about, oh, it's expensive for tickets to VeeCon, but the utility isn't all this is. It's also a collectible. You're buying the first lot of NFTs that Gary has released. So I think some people need to think about it from that point of view, that there are other NFT projects where you're buying a piece of artwork that has no utility. You're buying it just as a collectible. So the utility is an added bonus, not the only thing that makes up the value of that NFT. Now, will I be buying a VeeFriend? Look, I really hope I can afford one. I've got some ETH there to buy one. It'll just depend on what the prices go at. So look, I hopefully would get one for under that 1 ETH plus gas. I know that I think they will go a bit higher than that. I don't think I'll be able to afford one of the access ones as much as I'd love to have, especially the Podcast Panther was just starting a podcast. Now, why I mentioned that, make sure you go Tax Talk with Ethan Rushok over on Spotify. But I'd love to be able to have Gary on as a guest or have one of the one-on-one access. I think that'd be really cool. Or even just a virtual group access where I could have that conversation with Gary. But look, I think they will be priced out of my price range. My other reason for wanting to buy one is Gary's given me so much value over the years through free content. And the only way I've been able to support him is one, by watching it, obviously sharing some of his content and buying some of his books. But this could be my way of obviously giving back to someone. And I know people go, oh yeah, he doesn't need the money. But for me, that's important to me to give back to someone who has given a lot of value to me. Now, VeeCon being international does make that a little bit more difficult to see the value in that, because honestly, I don't think I would be getting to 3 VeeCons, even if I got one. I'd really hope to be able to get to at least one, but I've got things like a wedding coming up. I've just purchased a house. I'm trying to grow a business, so I don't know whether that will happen. But I honestly think even if I could get to 1 VeeCon, I think I'd still get my value out of that. Plus, like I said, I'd be able to support the project and hopefully be involved in a really cool community. Now, I will admit, the price of ETH keeping rising, that has made me really question to go, okay, now it's gone from a 2,700 Australian dollar investment, I suppose, for 1 ETH to buy 1 token, hopefully. Now that's up to 4,500, but obviously I've made some gains in that time, which has been a cool bonus. So that does make you question it though. You go, okay, am I missing out on potential future gains of this cryptocurrency by purchasing an NFT with it versus holding it in that, and will I get more value out of that? And I suppose that comes down to, are you looking just to make money off this project, or are you looking for the long-term collectible and supporting Gary and supporting the community, which, like I said, is one of the things that I'm more focused on rather than trying to flip this and make lots of money off of it. So in summary, NFTs are going to be around for a long time, and I think someone like Gary is going to be leading the way in it. I think his mainstream influence will bring a lot of people into the NFT and crypto community that weren't previously in it. He's already done a lot of media talking about VeeFriends, so I think that's really cool. It brings people in, it increases the value of other projects as more people come in, so I think that's really cool. I'm really hoping I can get one. I don't know which one I'll end up with, but I'll make sure I keep you guys updated and let you know how I went. And again, I thank you for watching this. I hope you found it quite interesting, and I'll see you again on the next video.